have two gentlemen that comes out in the evening and water. Right now it's kind of dry. We have a pile of soil over there that I need to get access to a wheelbarrow after hours so they can, we can break up the soil over there and add to these beds because the caving in has sunken in. But as you can see, stuff is still growing. And again, this is an organic garden. We don't use any miracle grow. We use no chemicals. We have sweet potatoes, that's an eggplant, some peppers, some squash. Over here, some more squash. And as you look around, this is a group project. We have identified a member who's growing this. She hasn't been out, but she does have squash coming up right here. Back there, we have some tomato plants, and a squash plant has been planted. We have strawberries, and the strawberries came up nice. We had a lot of strawberries. One of the issues with the community garden is we need to get a fence. We have to stop the restriction. Folks, the guy came through, he did fess up that he ate up all the strawberries because he felt like nobody was coming out getting them. And I'm like, well, people were coming out to get them, but you took them all and you didn't think about the next person. And that not having a gate or a restriction, that has annoyed a lot of our members. Like, I'm not working in this hot sun. I'm not coming over here watering. I'm not coming over here weeding and someone else taking the fruits of our labor, you know. Right, like I said, right now it looks a little dry, but also you notice it's not weeded either. So we did the weeding last night. They'll come back tonight and water again. Also, once I get a wheelbarrow, access to a wheelbarrow, they'll come out and we're going to get together and take the, put more soil on these gardens right here, on these flower raised beds right here. He has some cucumbers, have some string beans, has some tomatoes. He said last night he's pulling these things up because they died, but there's some bean plants, some tomato plants. They got some collard greens coming. It's stuff that's for the community, and what we're talking about doing is everybody have a different approach. But I would like, one of the things I would like to see done, that if we have enough, or whatever our bounty is to not to have access. Some folks say they want to give it away, but to me it's a combination. If you do sweat equity, you're entitled to some, but it's not. Let's start up a little small produce stand to initiate some type of entrepreneurship ideas. If not entrepreneurship by selling, let's gather up what we have and do a workshop on showing folks how to grow and store for when it's out of season. Because we really need to get back to eating in season. We talk about the health condition. Folks are eating out of season. We're eating too much food that has been imported. I guess folks are going to get upset with me for saying that. But I think if we stress a more buy local, eat local type programming, that it will be in the best interest. So having the farmers market and having the community gardens is a step in the right direction, especially for communities of the 9th District. Because believe it or not, there are more people who have some type of southern roots or Appalachian roots that grow stuff. Years ago, people always had a garden in their backyard. They had some type of container garden. But now the thing is like, oh, like it's a brand new idea. It's not a new idea. It's an old idea that they put a new twist on. My interest with the community garden is also to show African American kids that they do have black farmers. Maybe not urban farmers, but there are black farmers. There are people growing stuff, as well as that there are white people growing stuff. It does not happen outside the city. It's happening within the city, within your own neighborhoods as well.
How do you think the organics, if people choose to get organics as opposed to the like inorganics, do you think that makes like a more healthy lifestyle?
It gives people more choices. You know, pesticides can be an issue because there are a lot of chemicals. Not only the organic and non-organic, it's just we have to look at the chemicals, what we're ingesting, and organic and non-organic. You got to look at the transportation, where our food is coming from. You know, if it's being grown organic and you're still spraying something on for the transport, is it really organic? Are you buying local? What does it mean for the farmer? Because it's just not an urban issue. It's a farmer's issue as well. Farmers, they're struggling to make a living or to maintain the whole farming process. So how can we work together? I would love to see a farmer come out and start doing local urban training workshops. I'm saying it now, it's probably beyond it. Somebody probably in the office or a funding place talking about, oh, let's take that idea and spin it as their own. So a lot, like I said, these are ideas that happens right here in this city, in these communities. But other folks with the money, they just take it and spend it and present it as their own, and never give community people, low-income people, or anybody else who've been in the trenches credit for coming up with this idea.
Can you talk a little bit about your history with the community? I know you said you moved back here in 22 years ago, you said?
Yeah.
And prior to that, what had happened?
Well, when I was a kid, I grew up in the 400 block of North Gilmore Street, which is now part of the Highway to Nowhere.
Right.
My family was displaced. Prior to moving here, I lived in another part of the city, but I was commuting to D.C., taking the MARC train. Mm-hmm. I was always missing the MARC train, so I read in the paper one day this first-time home ownership opportunity in the community of Franklin Square. So as one who grew up in the community of Franklin Square, I knew about the community. I knew about the ills of the community. Franklin Square is the community that served as the research for the book The Corner. But I also saw that there was a lot of potential because the Franklin Square Community Association were able to work with the Roush Company to develop 66 brand new homes for home ownership. So I was selected to be one of the homeowners. As I stated, I knew what the community was about, so I used the philosophy that I reared my kids on. You're either a part of the problem or a part of the solution. You decide what part you want to play, and I decided to get involved with the community association, look at what we can do. And my belief is you start with what you have. We have more people, and you're not going to get everyone. So we started doing events around getting people engaged because drugs was such an issue. Our first project was an anti-drug rally, and that's when I learned that there are a lot of people on drugs, but they were on drugs because there were no drug treatment program. So myself and two other community leaders, we were visited by Bob Emery, and he asked what we needed. We now have across the street at 31 North Fulton Avenue, Recovery and Community Drug Treatment Program. That's another prideful spot that I think you have to show people what you're able to do. And we have been able to get drug treatment to address the drug issues of people in the community. Like I said, we did community cleanups. The building that I work out of was an old school, the St. Martin School. The community didn't have a suitable place to hold community meetings. Now we have the Barnes-Court Community Center where we meet out as communities. We have to work to get the Barnes-Court people more actively engaged from a holistic approach that we started with when they only had 2 staff persons. Now they have more staff people. And I really feel as a leader there is no true link with the community. It's like how we get this done because they gave us this money. And I feel that as a leader, what was successful may have lost its glamour, but we can go back and modify the glamour to be more successful because Barnes-Court is a health institution overall, and we have the success of the community foundation, the community development piece of it. So let's take the community development and the health approach and make it like it's the community that has done these things, not Barnes-Court by itself. No longer give the image that Barnes-Court did this. This was a plan. These were activities that were done by community residents and leaders, and let's work to put it back the way it was and not make it so corporate. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Correspondent.
Yeah,
But
it's warm out.
It is, yeah.
I guess, I mean, and for me, it's like the other things. Today, where I am today as a community leader, it's just not about Operation Reach Out Southwest. It's about reaching beyond boundaries and working in partnership with other communities that have been impacted by the urban flight, the loss of economic development. Like I said, I grew up in this area as a kid. We had businesses. Let's go back to get businesses, other businesses beyond a barber shop and a beauty shop. You know, and the liquor stores. We have too many liquor stores. When we talk about the health of this community, let's be real about it and look at all of these carryouts that can be approved, because folks don't understand how the zoning issue works. So really educating the community and saying we don't need another one of this, but when this license comes to an end, let's not get it renewed. So I guess.
Where do the farms that bring the produce to the farmers market, where are those located?
Of course, they're outside of the city. We have Calvert's Farm, that's the organic farm. They come, I think, from Cecil County. Stoker Farm comes from somewhere along the 83 line. And Green's Farm come from Carroll County, I'm almost sure.
So people come from all over to
People come from all over
support.
to be a part of. But that gets, like I said, that's a struggle because the farmers wants to make money. And we have to increase the foot traffic. But how do you do that with good old-fashioned door knocking? But we've been meeting and we're talking about going to, again, some of the other anchor institutions to say, how can you supplement this? How can you help us? Because this addresses a problem. Bon Secours Hospital, it treats a lot of the people, but how can we get the people at the hospital to become aware that there's a farmer's market, so when that patient is discharged and he need to eat a healthy diet, because we are a food desert, that, you have a farmer's market. It will be running up until November the 19th. Be a part of that. The community identified that years ago people were going to tax places to get their tax prepared and were being gouged by taxes, and now we have free tax services and low cost paid services for taxes. Let's enhance our workforce development program, that it can become a part of the Baltimore City's tool to say this is where we can get a pool of people, or we can send people here to be job ready, but also putting the onus on residents. If you're looking for a job, if you're unemployed, make sure you have a GED. Find out where the other services are and develop a plan. Everybody needs to have a plan. Organizations need to have a plan, and individuals need to have a plan. So how are we going to do this, and what we're going to do to make this better? Because there are a lot of things happening in the city, but we have to remove the fragmentation of whomever is in charge or however these programs are implemented. But also we need to talk to the funders, that the funders need to talk to the communities, regardless of how inefficient they may feel the community leadership or these coalition leaderships are. There are a lot of ideas at the table, So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but from here where we are on the corner of Fulton and this is Fayette Street, the farmers market is actually closer than the nearest grocery store, like large grocery store.
Pretty
correct?
much, yep.
Yeah. And is it easier to get there via public transportation than a grocery store?
Well, since they removed the bus services, they changed the bus services. Since they rerouted the bus services, but the farmers market to this area is walkable.
Oh, okay.
It's very walkable. It's about 5 blocks to the west, to the north of us, and 2 blocks to the west of us, depending on what street if you're going. If you go up Fayette Street, when you get to Smallwood, you just walk north.
Okay.
And it's like I say, most people can walk. It's a good walk for people with children.
Yeah.
Families with children. And there are some people that come to the farmers market that do bring their children.
Sure.
Okay.